Nobody gives respect to Ethan Ralph for building so much of our modern entertainment landscape.
Well, thank you for saying that.
I mean, it's true. There's always the unsung heroes of the space, and like, you're one of them, man. It's not fair.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Okay, now let me pull up the post here. I know you've already read it. Sorry, my mic cut off. Let's see, but I'll read this. Now, first off, before I read this, I don't, and Frog Tony, he wanted to call in too. I don't know if you have a problem with Frog Tony.
No. Well, we have a ongoing friendly rivalry, I would say.
But
but no, I don't have a problem with him coming on.
Okay, all right, but let's get a little bit just with you solo, and then I'll send him the link, if that's okay. He's been in the chat. I just wanted to check, make sure. I'm not trying to.
I saw him talking a little bit of trash. Man, that guy is great at stretching the truth. He's an entertainer.
I went on his show and I like Frog Tony. Now, okay, so
I also like Frog Tony.
Before we go into the mint salad, Riley Young Clippa, Riley / Young Clippa, SchizoSean, who came to your house and all this stuff. Before we go into all the situation and read what Riley posted, do you think there's a chance? I actually don't believe this, but do you think there's a chance that this is some troll?
Yeah. So I did have for a second. I was like, am I getting got? Is this kayfabe? But here's why I don't think it is that Mint Salad, who is autistic and retarded, has a movie review channel that she is autistically dedicated to, that was run by Riley, where every day she would post a insipid, useless review of some TV show or movie, so that people could look at her tits and pretend that she had a useful opinion. And she hasn't posted on there in like 2 weeks. And knowing the retard brain, the only thing that would tear her away from, what is to her the equivalent of, staring at a train every day, would be some dramatic upending life event. And that seems to be what this is.
Well, so one of the first things I checked, I didn't actually check her channel, but she posted them on Twitter as well. She's been silent on Twitter since November the 6th, which is the timeline that Riley gives. Also, the other thing is, why would you run work, as the term in wrestling, or troll? Why would you run a work like this? First off, even if you paid it off, some people are always going to say you got cut, whatever, right? Like some people are just right. So what benefit is there?
I mean, the best thing you get is like, hey, we tricked Ralph, we tricked Vito, and it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, if you told me you put your finger in your ass, I go, well, that's fucking weird. What's wrong with you? And you go, gotcha. I actually put my brother's finger in my ass. You go, well, okay, it's still bad. You're retarded in a different way.
Well, I did.
I don't think this is a work.
I did want to put that qualifier out there just in case, who knows? I don't think so myself. And Frog Tony says he's talked to both sides. I did have a little short conversation with Riley.
He said they came to visit him. They got pizza. They were all hanging out. So,
yes.
Frog Tony, the traitor, and when it comes to Riley is, well, I don't know. I don't know if you've given the whole story yet.
Well, I'm going to send him the link here in just a second. But I'm going to read this. This is from a young Clipper, also known as Riley. Mint Salad Saw, which I didn't know Saw had been added onto that, but isn't coming back if it hasn't come back yet. Now,
that's the channel. That's the channel where she does her movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On November the 6th, Mint Salad cheated on me with SchizoSean. By the way, full disclosure, I had him on this show, and I told him I didn't approve of him going to your house and stuff, but we still talked to him. He talked some stuff about Holt as well. So he was on this show, and then I think it was around this time, I don't know, right around this time, I went on another show that isn't worth naming, and he was on there, and I just ran wild on the whole panel. And
I saw that. That was good.
Yeah, they all suck. And he's not fun. There's nothing funny about the guy ever. And so anyway, that happened.
This is SchizoSean we're talking about?
Yeah, he's never been funny as well.
Yeah, he's a bit of a wet blanket when it comes to coming to him.
So I went on there, and again, I kind of feel a little bad for Riley. You probably don't. But Riley and Mint Salad were in the chat, and they were talking shit to me, and SchizoSean's talking shit, and I'm like, okay. And so we kind of got into a little, argument or whatever, Riley and I, and we were cool before that, and we're cool again now, honestly. But so When I first saw this, I was like, oh boy, Ralph Amel curse. And I mean, kind of. But like, I pulled back a little because it does sound like a tough story. Anyway, on November the 6th, Mint Salad cheated on me with SchizoSean, and on November 7th, before I could find out and writing the new high they found, they left with a bunch of my stuff in the middle of the night. Left me with all the bills, drove around to mutual friends' places, and tried to force triangulation tactics on them. Then they took advantage of and stole from a friend of mine that was helping them in Illinois. Until that friend and I went out of state to work together, and then the two of them drove back down to my house and broke in. He said he'd had the locks changed, and stole more stuff. My neighbors called the police, and they are likely going to spiral into more serious trouble from here. And in full disclosure, I did try to get him on the show. He had his reasons for not coming on. And if the police are involved, I actually understand that too. I'm going to send Frog Tony the link here in just a second. And what do you think about what was said there?
Well, look, here, my experience with Mint Salad. We had this stupid tiff. She thought I was ripping on her, and I tried to, again, you're dealing with an insane, retarded woman. So I spent multiple times, I'm like, Mint, I don't hate you. It's fine. Let's clear it up, whatever. But there's people around her who realize if you poke an autistic bear, it will just get more and more retarded. So there were people who kept going to Mint Salad, and they're like, hey, Vito's lying to you. He's tricking you. Fight with it. Because it was funny to them. They're like, oh, it'd be funny to make Mint Salad hate Vito, which is what eventually happened. She's a dumb, retarded girl who was easily provoked into thinking I actually fucking hated her. And now I do fucking hate her because then she lost her fucking mind and started talking all this shit, started making all these plans against me, trying to turn all my friends against me. And I just said, okay, listen, I want nothing to do with you. You're retarded. Leave me alone. Again, I was nothing but nice to this fucking girl. I went to this girl. I got this comic book. I said, hey, will you draw a trading card? I paid her to draw a trading card for my comic book. I just figured it was like a casual acquaintance. But again, she's retarded. She's easily tricked into having these stupid fights. So she went nuts. And I kept trying to tell people, I'm like, guys, I don't think you understand that, like, it's fun to poke the retarded girl, but on a long enough timeline, she's just going to become completely insane and schizo, which seems to be what happened here, is that Mint Salad's hanging out with SchizoSean. He probably finger bangs her on the couch when Riley's not paying attention. Okay, next thing you know, her little fucking brain's all crosswired. She's like, oh, I like when I get the bad touch. And then she just runs off with the fucking guy because she's got no loyalty to her man.
Who built her career, by the way? Do you agree with that statement? I mean, he basically built.
I agree with what?
He built her up, right? That's fair to say, right?
She's nothing. She has nothing going on. Mint Salad has this like idea in her head. I don't know if you remember, she came on here and tried to shit talk me, and she was just stuttering and repeating other shit people told her to say about me.
That was
because she doesn't have a single original thought in her head. And you could tell she's like she didn't even know what to say because she can't form a fucking opinion.
1 second, I'll stop these. I'll let him go, but I'll just turn this on for sure.
She's dumb.
Oh no, okay, no problem. Yeah, at one point, remember she took the IQ test on here to prove she's not retarded.
I do remember that was actually a pretty funny segment. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. You take an online IQ test and you go, okay, Mint Salad, you have average intelligence. It's fine. She was so excited that she passed the IQ test. This is how retarded she is. She was going around everywhere going, I'm so smart. I went on Ethan Ralph's show. I passed the IQ test. And then she was like challenging me. She's like, I bet I could be you at the IQ test, Vito. And I'm like, dude, it's an online IQ test. Like, yes, it's good that you're functional as an adult human being, kind of, but like, you don't take an online IQ test and start running around saying you have a super high IQ. You got to take an actual IQ test if you want to measure your fucking intelligence. So this is a lady who was nuts.
Keep going. We have Frog Tony. I'll introduce him.
And unfortunately, people around her, nobody like. There's like it's like you have people in your friends group who will never really achieve anything that great. So you just kind of glass them the whole time, and you go, "Yeah, man, you're a great." Like everybody who tells Mint Salad she's a great artist, you're like, "Oh, you have so much potential. Just stick with it. You'll eventually figure it out." She has no potential as a fucking artist. People like, again, I hired her to draw the trading card because I'm like, whatever. A retard drawing art is cute. It's not good art, but it's kitschy and fun. But nobody around her goes, hey, you want to be a movie reviewer? Well, take time, figure out what you're actually talking about, read some books about film history. You want to be an artist? Plenty of like fucking things to study to become an artist. Don't just trace pictures of Yoda on a fucking live stream. Mint Salad is nothing. And Riley took what was basically a nothing girl, made her into a fucking successful porn star, gave her all this, opportunities to have fun and pretend to be a content creator, pretend to be a personality. And she's throwing it all away to get finger banged by SchizoSean in the back of his fucking van while they travel the country being fucking scuzzy weirdos, man. I don't get it. I think Riley is the ticket. If I was a retarded girl and I saw Riley managing my career, getting me an OnlyFans going, keeping my YouTube channel going, I'd go, I'm never leaving this fucking guy. But hey, now she's got SchizoSean.
I'll tell you something. I don't think I mentioned that somebody. Of course, you already said you would give me a review copy of Superkiller, and so I could have just messaged you. And first off, she did make a website trying to spoil some of the storyline and stuff. But then,
dude, she gave away the whole the thing I never talk about because I didn't want to draw attention to it. Is before my comic book came out, this fucking spiteful bitch took an advanced copy of my comic book, posted it on a website, and said, "Oh, it's free. Everybody can read it now. Nobody has to buy it. I'm just giving it away." Duh. And I'm like, you fucking, like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, really? Do you understand that, like, there's some things that are, like, kind of important to me, and one of them is, like, hey, I am trying to make something. I'm trying to tell stories. And because we're having an internet argument, you go, oh, I'm just going to, like, give away an unfinished version. And then it's embarrassing to people I work with. The artist who's working on the comic book with me goes, hey, man, a lot of that art wasn't final. I really don't want it out there. Those are, like, sketches that I'm working on, and people are making fun of them. And I'm like, dude, I know. Like, I'm sorry I got into a fight with this horrible internet lady, and she's putting this shit out there trying to embarrass me and embarrass you by proxy.
All right,
it harmed some professional relationships I had.
I could imagine. I'll just say this, and then we'll get Frog Tony in here. He's already here, but I'll let him talk.
Yeah.
I got some questions for him. Just to tell you this, she had, I had the falling out with Masterson. I think you know that. I think you know a little bit about it. And so she unfollowed me on Twitter. Riley did not actually, and stayed in contact, and that's how SchizoSean even got on my show in the first place. And I really just wanted him on to talk about the Imholt stuff at the time. I was beefing with him, and so. And anyway, of course, we talked about your stuff. I said I didn't approve, and we went through it though. And anyway, she had broken off like contact with me, basically unfollowed me, all this stuff, and I'd had her on the show, which is fine. Thinking she's being loyal to Dick Masterson, that's fine. Although I don't know too many people more loyal to Dick Masterson than Riley. And he didn't unfollow me, right? It's just like, well, it's a beef between two guys. And anyway. She sent me a copy of your final comic on Discord when it came out.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why, because I could have just asked you for it.
Asked me for a copy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know why, but that was who sent me that. And I don't know if she...
Well, I became the focus of a retarded woman's... You know how autistic people obsess on things like a train or a light fixture? I became the focus of an autistic woman's fucking obsessions. She spent every waking moment going, how can I destroy Vito? She was going into all these chat rooms, all these streams, sending people money to talk shit about me, sending super chats. It was like actually obsessive, stalkerish fucking shit. And then today, Riley confirms there was a show at, Hackamania we were doing. And then Riley says, yeah, the reason we couldn't go to Hackamania is that Mint Salad said if she saw Vito, she was going to, attack him, jump at him, try to claw his fucking face off. And I'm like, yeah, nobody, like, everybody went, Vito, what are you worried about with this little autistic girl? And I'm like, look, I'm not afraid that she's going to pull a gun and shoot me in the face. But I am worried that, she's a spiteful, vindictive bitch who's has nothing going on in her life, is obsessively focused on me. and is going to devote hours and hours of her day to going, oh, how can I fuck with Vito? How can I annoy Vito? Was going to like every one of my friends on Twitter and Facebook and being like, hey, Vito's a bad guy. Here's how we're going to get him. And turned all these fucking people against me because they go, oh, well, it's just a harmless little retarded girl. Of course, the big fat guy's the bad guy here. And I'm like, dude, I just want nothing to do with this fucking chick. She won't leave me the fuck alone. The fact that she came on here to talk shit about my comic book, I'm like, how petty and spiteful are you? I don't think about you at all. Leave me alone.
All right,
who cares if my comic book is good or not? Shut up.
All right. Well, I assume you care, but like, yeah, she was.
Yeah, I'm the only one who should care.
All right.
She should not care.
All right. Now, Frog Tony is here. Sorry for the delay. I just, we had some things to get in there. And anyway, thank you for coming on the show, Frog Tony. I came on your show one time, so I appreciate you returning the favor. Can you hear me and everything?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Okay, so first off, are you the Illinois friend mentioned in that post?
No, that's a different friend.
Okay.
First off, can I say something really quick, Ralph?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because it's really weird. Vito hates Riley and doesn't believe anything Riley says, except for now that Riley's broken up with Mint, so he believes every single thing that Riley says about Mint.
So it's fake.
So
what's
no,
happening?
you don't think that maybe Riley said that Mint was going to beat you up at Hackamania because now they've broken up and he needs to make Mint the bad guy? You don't think that's a possibility?
So Mint's the good person by breaking up with the guy who completely set her up, gave her a career, and made her tons of money. She's actually the good guy.
So you're saying that Riley couldn't be lying?
Answer my question. Don't answer my question with another
I don't
question.
think either one of them is
Gentlemen,
a good guy. I literally told Mint.
Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on?
2 weeks ago, when I sat down with Mint and Sean, I told them both. I said, hey, you guys, the way you handled this was bad. I don't agree with it. If you were going to break up with Riley, you should have did it into his face, let him know, not just take off in the middle of the night.
Probably shouldn't have stole his shit.
Well, what was his
Why
shit?
are you defending her at all?
Hold on, wait.
You're on here going, why do you
Gentlemen.
believe Riley about her? I don't know, because she sounds like a spiteful, insane bitch. When the guy tells me, yeah, you don't even know. I have to. Okay. I don't know. I don't break up with a guy.
Gentlemen,
If I do, I'm not going with my boyfriend to their house.
You call me all the time.
Gentlemen, one at a fucking time, please. Last time.
Bro, Riley changed the locks. Mint Salad and fucking SchizoSean break in, steal a bunch of shit, and you're telling me, well, why do you believe Riley? What do you say? I don't know. It sounds like
okay. One at a time. Wait a minute.
What am I answering?
Just wait a minute. Just hold on, Vito. Now, Frog Tony, you said you've talked to both sides. Start off with Mint Salad and the SchizoSean side.
Well, I actually talked to Riley and them first.
Okay, we'll start with who you talked to first then. That's fine.
Okay, so when it initially happened, Riley went into his Twitter group, the Clipperverse, and posted, hey, Sean and Mint took off in the middle of the night. They took a bunch of my comic books. They stole the cameras and stuff, and they left. And just like all of you guys, we all thought it was possibly a bit, right? We're like, there's no way. There's no way that happened. And so a couple days later, I think, so that was like the 6th. So like the 10th, I reached out to Riley because I was concerned, right? Me and Riley have had on and off again friendship. So I reached out. I said, hey, Riley, what's going on? Are you okay? How you feeling? Right? And Ralph will tell you right now because he just seen that I reached out to Ralph. Rice said the same thing. Said, Ralph, are you okay? And Ralph just seen it right now and hearted it.
He did. Well, that's when they thought I was dead in Colombia. And a lot of people messaged me and I wasn't able to get back to everybody. And
I'm just saying that's the kind of person I am.
He
right?
did.
So I reached out to Riley to ask him if he was okay.
Okay, Frog.
Because I'm the good guy in this situation, Vito. Right?
Right. I mean, you're just calling Riley a liar.
No,
wait.
Go. Okay, let him say what.
I'm letting him.
Go ahead.
So I reached out to Riley. Riley said, it'd be really nice if I could talk to you on the phone, right? So I was like, okay, well, I can call you on Discord later. And we talked for like an hour. And Riley basically told me that Mint took off, took a bunch of stuff, that her and Sean, escaped with all of his acid, that they left.
No.
They left the weed, though. They didn't take the weed. They took all the acid.
Well, you don't believe him.
No. I said on that one particular thing, I don't believe him.
Wait, you don't believe it?
Okay.
Wait.
So when it comes to me, Riley's lying.
Well,
everything
Riley
else
told
she's
me
telling the truth
previously,
about.
Vito.
No, wait, hold on,
Riley
wait,
told me he was never going to
wait,
Hackamania.
Frog Tony, wait, clarify which part you don't believe that they took the.
No, the part I don't believe is when Riley said that Mint was going to beat up Vito at Hackamania.
Right,
because
you're calling
previously
Riley a
Okay,
liar.
all right.
You're calling
he wasn't
Riley a liar.
going.
I got it.
Okay.
You think Riley's a liar.
Okay, all right.
That's a really shitty thing.
Again, Vito, previously Riley told me in confidence that he was
Right.
never
And
planning
so
on
you're
going
saying,
to Hackamania.
okay, so you believe he's lying. What am I saying wrong? You think he's lying?
I'm telling you why I think he's lying, because previously he told me.
Okay,
Okay,
you
wait,
think
wait,
Riley's a liar.
but
That's
wait.
fine. I don't think he's a liar.
Okay, but let him say why. Go ahead. I didn't know this was going to turn
Again, he's
into
saying right now that he didn't go to Hackamania because Mint was going to beat up Vito. Previously, he told me he never planned to go to Hackamania, and it was all just to fuck with Vito to make him think that he was going to do something at Hackamania.
Well, she does have
Got
a pretty strong punch, you know. I'll give her credit for that. So, you know, I don't know, but
I agree. She might have beat Vito up. I'm just saying he told
Well, I
two
didn't say that.
stories to me. This
I
would
didn't
be
say
two different stories of the same event, right?
Vito's seen her coming. I
All I
don't know.
know
Vito's
is
got the weight
told
advantage.
that I would have been attacked by Mid-South if she went to Hackamania.
You were told that.
I was told that, yeah, because
Okay.
she's nuts.
All right.
And I told y'all she was nuts, and everybody went, "No,
right.
she's fine.
Yeah.
She's never going to steal a bunch of
fine
shit."
now.
All right. Say what?
What?
So I talked to Riley. Riley said they took the acid, they took off.
They took all the cameras.
The car, his comic books. He
They
even
took
told
the
me,
car
if you
and
get
the
a chance
cameras.
to
They
get
took the car-
one
no,
of my
wait.
comic books back.
Let him finish
go ahead and grab it.
So what did they took allegedly took drugs, stole them. They took cameras, and you're saying they took a vehicle?
Well, the what is it, the Prius, the red car that he's got.
That was his car. Yeah, I saw it at the Air July thing, right? I think that was the car they had there, right? Okay, well that
I don't know if it's his or me.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. All right, and these are allegations, to be clear. Anyway, now go ahead. What else did he say?
And so we talked a little bit more. He said he couldn't pay the rent. He didn't have no money for the rent. That Mint handled all the bills, and that Mint didn't pay anything. And I said, well, you know, talking to Riley again, I hadn't talked to Mint at this point or nothing. I was like, well, it sounds like maybe she was planning this because, you know, if she didn't pay the rent and she didn't pay any of the utilities, maybe she was, you know, working on this for a while, right? And Riley's like, well, maybe that. Who knows? That sounds like it could be plausible. But he's like, you know, I still want to be friends with them, and I could still like make content with Sean and Mint if they came back, and you know, we all just.
Oh no!
And that's what I told him too. That exact thing. I
no.
was like that's such a fucking.
Oh, no.
I even said, Ralph. I even mentioned your name because I go, as soon as Ethan Ralph finds out about this, he's gonna call you a fucking cuck till the end of time. I'm like, there's no way to get around this, right? And he's like, no, we could probably still do content. He's like, I don't really care. He's like, I was kind of done with her anyway. And I think it was a lot of bluster, a lot of, you know, she didn't dump me. I didn't want her anyway.
Well,
shit.
I would say,
Was this after they stole his car? We don't know the
assume so,
timeline.
Well,
yeah.
I would say it would be a bad thing if she would come back around me after something like that happened. But regardless, you know, that's what he said. And, you know, I actually, when I first saw this story, I was gleeful because I was like, Ralph Amel Curse. I even put it in there. And then when I got down to the bottom, I was like, you know what? I really was trying to not cover stuff like this as much anymore and do bigger things working on this Candace project, but it's just too juicy. It's too good. Not good for people involved necessarily, but good for entertainment. And they're all involved in the shit with my show and certain points in my life. And so I basically had to cover it. And so I feel like I kind of took it easy on him a little bit because I felt, I don't know. If that's true,
well,
she fucked him over.
Dude,
But
Riley is obviously the victim in this situation. I mean, if Mint said, listen, I'm breaking up with you, I'm leaving with SchizoSean, you go, well, that's unfortunate, but, you know, people break up, whatever. But, you know, to do it surreptitiously, to not pay the rent, to steal the camera, steal the comic book, steal the car, run away in the dead of night. Then after Riley changes the locks, wait for him to go out of town, go back, break in again, allegedly. Steal more shit. Like
Vito,
I
know you love the filibuster, but I can answer like.
No, wait, okay.
All
right, I'm done. If Tony's gonna just interrupt me, I'm just leaving.
No,
so you want to cut Tony?
No, just. All right, just.
I'm gonna leave. You got
Vito,
about 2 seconds.
Vito,
no. Here's the thing. You're saying like
oh my
6
God.
things. Ralph, I'm sorry, but he's saying like 6 different
Why
things.
can't you just fucking do what I tell you to do? I'm the moderator on this show, and like you keep cutting people off. He's not wrong. Both you guys are cutting people off.
Yeah.
But like anyway.
I'm sorry, Ralph. I apologize.
Give me a moment, sir, and don't cut me off. Okay. I'm okay. Can you come back on in about 20 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. I'll see you then. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, and I'll appreciate seeing you again.
All right.
Okay. Now Vito's going to come back in. And then we will. Wow, that's a weird look there. Honestly, I should have separated it anyway. I didn't know that. I should have kept you guys separate. I didn't know it was going to turn into that. And like, I thought there could be a calm conversation between you two. And apparently that's not possible. And so, you know, despite repeated, and he was doing a lot of the cutting off. You cut him off once or twice too. It's just, there's heat there. And so it just, we can't have a coherent conversation, and that's okay. And we're going to bring him back in, and I'll get what Mint told him and all that stuff too, and so that's fine. And you were the original guest booked, and so that's another thing. Anyway,
am I on? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, you're on live.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's just Frog Tony has this thing where like anything I say, he feels like he has to argue with it, and it just becomes fucking insufferable. Where all I'm saying is, dude, Riley is the victim in this situation, and Tony goes, "Oh, why are you filibustering, dude?" Because he's the fucking victim. What do you want? What do you mean? Like there is no two sides to this here. Okay, fucking mint salad and SchizoSean stole a bunch of Riley's fucking shit. It's not like a clean, normal breakup. It's a psychopath breakup.
If
from
that's
a crazy
true,
woman.
then no, that they're not clean. That's dirty. And I, you know, I haven't seen anything.
Dude, Frog Tony's trying to play both sides. He wants to be friends with all these guys because he's a fucking spineless worm who can never just like fucking pick a side.
Wait, he's not here now. Hold on.
I know, but let's be clear.
Yeah,
if you're not, how can you not be on Riley's side on this one?
I know, but just don't trash him too much, because that's not really fair either, because he was just here, now he's not, and he's coming back. And
all right, well, it's just infuriating, man. Nah, he's like he's trying to what about every part of this fucking thing.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just thoughts on any possible, because we're gonna hear what Mint told him and SchizoSean, any possible defense that they could have for their actions here.
I imagine Mint Salad. Here's what I know. What I know of hysterical women and their ploys for sympathy. Mint Salad will, and I guarantee this, I'm putting it at 98. If I could polymarket bet on this, I'd put a lot of money on it. Mint Salad will claim Riley was an abusive boyfriend. She'll have some grand stories of abuse, of how he was emotionally unavailable. She's going to accuse him of some horrible fucking thing or whatever else. And that's it. And SchizoSean, if he says anything, he'll go, yeah, I just saw what an abusive relationship was. And of course, I had to step in and save this poor retarded girl from this abusive relationship. Again, I'd put 98% odds on that, because that's what these women do. They can't. Mint Salad has to see herself as the victim in any situation. And if you look at any fucking situation she's ever been involved in, it's woe is me, I'm Mint Salad, I never did nothing wrong to nobody. Even when she acts like a stupid, insufferable cunt, it's I'm the victim. And that's what she'll do here. I don't know exactly what narrative she'll come up with. Maybe she tries to Me Too Riley or some shit like that. But it'll come out, and that'll be her line, because she desperately wants to be in these circles that she's established. She wants to be respected as a great artist and a great mind. It doesn't realize really the only reason anyone ever entertained her, because you're like, oh yeah, that's Riley's girlfriend. Like, she never evolved beyond that. Mint Salad never became, hey, it's Mint Salad. It's always just like, hey, yeah, that's Riley's retarded girlfriend. She's kind of funny. and she's got nothing else going on. Now what? Now it's SchizoSean's retarded girlfriend. Okay, it's an interesting career move. We'll see how it pays off for her. But again, I think I would have backed Riley as the winning horse if I was Mint Salad. He was at least giving her something resembling a life and a career.
Well, I think that there's a good chance that is what she's going to say, what Frog Tony might say. Not from anything. I had a very cordial conversation with Riley in DMs, not because of anything he told me. I mean,
look, when you're with a girl for 5,
you
go
may
ahead.
look, you may know that my I think ex-wife, I don't know anymore, like if it's went through in New York or whatever, lived in a house with Riley and Mint Salad and another person. And well, I took her away. Actually paid her while we went out while we were at that house and then came back. We had a long trip to go get some ice cream. It was quite a treat, I'll say. But regardless, and then all hell broke loose and, things went from there. And I got a daughter out of the situation. I don't get to see her because I haven't went to court for all that. And whatever.
Someday, man. Someday she'll come.
Someday.
Man, when she's an adult.
That's right. And maybe before, we'll see what happens there.
And you're running your big radio network out of Mexico. She's going to go, I got to visit Daddy Radio.
But
get some of that money.
I had heard some things that she had told that person that I used to know, someone I used to know. And I don't know if any of that stuff's true, by the way, but that does make me think that is probably what she'll say. And I'm not saying any of that's true, by the way. Riley's probably listening. I'm not saying any of that's true. But I do know that something was told to me back then. I'm not even going to repeat it because I don't know if it's true. But it's
well, here's the thing, man. Anytime you're in a relationship with a girl for more than 5 years or whatever else, sure, there's going to be like an incident where you're the bad guy, and she can take that and she can spin it out of control. I look back at relationships I have, and I go, I remember that one argument. I got mad. I threw a fucking bottle against the wall. And again, it was one time out of like a 6-year relationship. But if you go, man, he was crazy. He would get so mad. He would throw fucking glass bottles, and there's glass everywhere. You take one incident from a 6-year relationship and you make the guy sound like he's a fucking nut job.
I've said this on air before. If you've ever been in an intense relationship, and this is not co-signing any kind of behavior. Like there's a clip out there, allegedly of me, and they said, well, he did this and that. Actually, I didn't do anything. I did allegedly say some things you shouldn't say or whatever. But I was trying to give the person a hug, actually. And they're like, well, he did this and he beat people up. No, that never happened. But people spin things and whatever, but that's not my point. My point is if you're in an intense relationship, there's some intense things that can happen over time. I don't even mean like outright violence, but shouting matches.
Dude, hurtful, crazy shit can be said. Like you get really fucking heated. You say something fucking horrendous, that if put in front of somebody, you'd go, oh my God, how could you say something that hurtful or, do something that hurtful? People don't understand, dude, you're with somebody for 6 fucking years. Like, yeah, you're going to have one day, you're going to have a bad day and say or do something. Doesn't mean that that's you, the totality of the person. That's been a big problem with all this, cancel culture. Is a lot of it is judging somebody by one really bad day they fucking had, and you lose it and you throw a tantrum.
And by the way, I'm sure that person will see this because I know for a fact they still follow all this shit. I take responsibility really for the dissolution of my own marriage there. Mostly all my fault. But there was a lot of misrepresentation there, total misrepresentation with that and other things involved. And then what I can't forgive is, keeping my daughter away from me and knowing that I have to fight on both sides of the country and You're not going to cooperate at all. It's like Hitler invading fucking Russia, right? Like I already have a situation where you live in California that's just absolutely insane. So anyway, I love my daughter, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
The tragedy of this life, man, is like there's some people who don't understand that people want to change, people want to get better. We're not defined by our worst days or whatever else. And yeah, Ralph, you know, I think you would be the first to say you fucked up in a lot of ways. But anytime I talk to you about it, people always go, why do you talk to Ethan Ralph? That guy, he's evil, he's crazy, whatever else. I go, I don't know, man. Anytime I talk to Ralph, he seems like a guy who's got a fucking heart. Like I don't think Ralph wants to kill people, maim people, rape people, whatever else. So and again, like, dude, and there are some people out there, and again, maybe it's out of ignorance or whatever. My experiences with Mint Salad have been, this bitch is crazy and bordering on like psychopathic evil. So when this shit comes out, and again, I actually am worried for SchizoSean getting involved with this girl. I'm going, yeah, hey, everybody wants to ride the roller coaster, but nobody wants to live at the theme park, man. Like, nobody wants to live there forever. You're stuck with her now. Like, good luck. So we'll see what happens. But again, I think it's just going to be another fucking toxic relationship. From what I've heard from Riley of dealing with this chick, and the fucking hell she put him through, shrieking and crying all the fucking time. Good luck, Sean, man. I hope the pussy's worth it, I guess. To me, the greatest tragedy of all this is women fucking ruin everything, man. I think I had a great relationship with Riley before his shrieking woman fucking turned him against me. I even had an okay relationship with SchizoSean. And then so many guys, I don't know, like they just, again, you have this, let's be clear, people, the simpery for Mint Salad is what drove me nuts. Now me, I'm a guy who, I don't know, I guess the simping of women, it doesn't work on me because I go, all of you whores are fucking manipulative little bitches and you can bat your eyes all day long. I know what you're doing. You know what it is? I think as a fat guy, and Ralph used to be a fat guy, women treat fat guys in a way where like they think women desperately want to be accepted by the male culture. You know, they want to be one of the boys, so they try to seek out, they're like, oh, I can be one of the boys if I rip on the fat guy, you know. So, and I see this with women a lot where they're like, oh, I'm gonna neg Vito and fuck with Vito and that'll integrate me into this friend group better. And I'm like, no, you're just a manipulative fucking bitch, and all these guys who are simping for you eventually are going to find out that you're an evil and at the end of the day, it always ends up happening. These women show up, they're like, oh, I'm just fun and flirty, I'm just here to have a good time, and then they steal all your fucking shit and they steal your fucking car. And I go, well, I don't know why you believed that bitch, she's nuts. And well, that's what seems to be happening. Enjoy Frog Tony. Hopefully he'll be more normal.
I just couldn't keep it. I couldn't keep it going with you both. It's okay.
I'm like, dude, I'm not even arguing with you. It's like the second he comes on, he's gonna argue with me. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to have a fucking conversation. Every fucking thing I say, he's a fucking contrarian. Enjoy him.
Thank you, brother. All right, now okay. No beef with Frog Tony, by the way. I eventually, to be fair, Vito's cutting him off a little bit too, but like, we just couldn't. They weren't following. It turned into a blood sport that I did not plan on. Let's see. And then you've seen this on my show before, where again, no beef. I just sent you a message, no beef at all. But like, it turned into a blood sports that I didn't plan on, and sometimes I can just let that go. But he was the book guest, and obviously you guys have some kind of heat. And I actually yelled one time, and still there was no moderation, respecting going on there. And it's like, okay, well, we just separate it. And originally I thought that's probably the best idea anyway. But okay, so you talked to Riley. Finish up with what else he told you, if you left anything out.
So yeah, that first time when I talked to Riley, he was just saying that he still wanted to try to make content with Mint and Sean, and that maybe they could still get along and everything. and he wasn't really upset. And then, like I said, he was saying he didn't have no money, no job. And I actually offered Riley a job. I said, Riley, well, if you came up this way where I'm at in Chicago, I said I might be able to get you a job with me, right? But he's like, well, no, I got no way to get anywhere. But he's like, maybe later, because I got to contact some guy. I know a guy in Illinois, and that maybe I can get a job right up there or go stay up there, whatever. We just kind of left it at that. And then Mint had DM'd me on Twitter, was like, hey, I'm coming up towards your way. You want to meet for lunch or dinner, and we can talk. And she said it in a way that I think she didn't know that I knew that she had broken up with Riley at the time, right?
Right.
And I even told Riley, because I even talked to Riley again. I was like, hey, Mint had reached out to me, and I think she doesn't know that I know you guys are broken up, because the way she's saying this, it's almost like she wants me to think that you and her are coming this way, and then it's going to be her and Sean, right? And
now I will say this, and this is not to call you out. That's a little double game you had going on there, right? But anyway, I'm not calling you out, but like, but go.
No, it's fine. I told Mint knows. I told Riley knows.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough then. Okay, that changes a little bit, a lot actually. Okay, so. All right, they came up there. What's her side? By the way, I said arrest her. If she broke into the house and stole all that shit, I would probably have her arrested. I ain't gonna lie. But I said that as hyperbolic on Twitter. If they did all that, those are serious things, no doubt. But I do want to be fair about it. When you said you would talk to her and SchizoSean, and fuck SchizoSean for life, honestly. Mint Salad, even though she punched me in the face that time, we had some good shows, and I forgave all that. That was all just a fucking clusterfuck and stuff. And so she probably thinks I have some type of personal axe to grind, but not really. Not really. It's just a story I have to cover, and it's kind of my thing. And so, give her side of the story.
So she told me that, I guess, prior to this trip with SchizoSean being there, that he had came previously to stay with them for a while, and that the plan was that SchizoSean was going to move in with them to start making content from the house, and that he was gonna Riley confirmed this when I talked to Riley, that they were supposed to show SchizoSean how to direct Mint in her movie reviews, and to help her do that, so that way SchizoSean and Mint would make the movie reviews, right, and that way Riley could stop being the
okay. I'll tell you a little bit more history. My ex-wife, I used to call her Pantsu. And so Riley and Mint Salad were just brought in to the home she shared with another person. And I'm not talking out of school. This is well known. That's one of the things that pissed her the fuck off, right? And so I wouldn't have brought SchizoSean in, but that's just me thinking back on another situation that was even more chaotic, actually, believe it or not. But I guess he thought he was his friend or whatever, and no chance of any improprieties. But okay, so they were going to teach. Repeat, they're going to teach SchizoSean how to edit and direct the video, so Riley didn't have to do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so because the idea was that Riley would be less of a coworker and be able to be more of a boyfriend, right?
Right.
And so Sean had came back, moved in, started working with them. And so Riley's version of it is that Mint is lazy, doesn't want to do anything, and that Sean is completely incompetent. Their version is Riley micromanaged too much, and that got on everybody's nerves, and that's why it took so long to get everything done, right? And then I guess during this whole thing, Mint developed a crush on Sean, and eventually feelings developed, and they decided that she didn't want to be with Riley no more, that Riley had settled, that he was no longer ambitious and no longer, looking to better himself and do things, make content. Because Riley had the big Eric July situation, and then he got arrested, and then the way they tell it, the way Mint tells it, that Riley basically has PTSD from his stay in jail, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't want to go to jail. And so, you know, what did they expect him to do? Go down there and fuck with Eric July some more and get a felony and go away for many months? I've been in jail for 8 fucking months.
No.
And I don't have PTSD from it, but you don't want to be in fucking jail is all I'm saying.
He has to have the doors open.
Wait. Well,
he feels claustrophobic.
How long did he stay in jail?
1 night.
Okay, well, yeah, I had a few one-nighters before that. I'll tell you one thing though. One night is one night too many, and when that door closes behind you, you know where you're at, and you're locked in a cage like a fucking animal, and it's not something you want to experience, to be quite frank. But okay, but she didn't allege any abuse or anything like that, or
no, it was just normal stuff. They said, we argued, we had disagreements. The arguments got a little, sometimes they got more heated than others, but there was never she didn't say, Riley's throwing me around or beating me. It was just, I no longer had feelings for Riley. I developed feelings for Sean. Okay,
well, good. I'm glad I didn't repeat earlier what had been told to me years ago, because it sounds like that was maybe not the case, or maybe it was. I don't know. It was years ago. Yeah, Vito. Okay.
Well, Riley. So here's the thing. When I talked to Riley, he did the whole, this is what she's going to tell you. And then he listed a bunch of events that happened. And I don't want to repeat them because, like I said, she didn't bring them up. So I'm not going to repeat them. He listed a bunch of events that he said, this is what she's going to tell you and why I'm so bad.
Okay.
So I just found that odd that he was preloading my idea of, because he knew, like I said, he knew I was going to meet with Mint. And so he was like, here's the things that she's going to tell you, blah, 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 blah. And she didn't tell me any of those things. So it was a little weird.
Okay. Well, I mean, who do you believe?
I told them, I told Sean and Mint, basically, I was like, I don't know what really happened. There was probably some truth between all of it. I said, it was a bad idea for you guys to leave in the middle of the night. You probably should have broken up with Riley the right way and everything. I was like, I really don't believe any of these, but I said, I see Mint and she's my friend and she's happy. And that's really, what my big concern is, my friends being happy. Mint said, because I asked
wait, is Riley your friend?
Riley was my friend. Yes. Riley has repeatedly told me we're not friends.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me give you an example. I was going over to California for Riley's big event, and I was going to go for the 1 day and then go home. Riley told me, if you only go for the 1 day, don't bother coming. And I go, Riley, I'm just coming to hang out with you at your big free Riley event. He goes, well, that's your plan. Just don't fucking come. I'm like, well, we're friends. I just want to hang out with my friend. He goes, well, if that's what you want, just don't fucking come, because there's no point in you coming just to come hang out at the bar with us. So,
well, maybe he felt like you weren't fully committed to it, and he wanted people who were fully committed. I'm just giving
he just wanted me to come early to go on to the biggest problem.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't even know that was a possibility. Like I said, I just knew that there was an event there, and that's what I was going for. Okay. And then, when I was messing with Vito one time, and then I stopped, Riley got really upset and was like, well, we're not friends anymore. Right? So he would constantly go back and forth between we're friends and we're not friends based on what I do. Right? It's like my friendship to him was based on transactional stuff. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean with that. And that's your side of it. To be clear. Now I'll say before I go back to the well, let me ask you this, because Jess has a question. Also, you can send in super chats too. I just turned off the sound just so I could get a clear cut side of both. Hear from Vito, and then Frog Tony here has talked to both sides. I did talk to Riley a bit off the record, and I'll maintain that. Whatever's on Twitter in public, of course, you can read that. But I did talk to him a bit off the record. I've not talked to Mint Salad. I'll never talk to SchizoSean. I hope he gets hit by a fucking bus. But regardless, who do you believe? And did they steal the shit? Do you believe that?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I get aggravated with Vito. And again, I apologize because Riley's like, they stole a bunch of shit. And so, according to Mint, she made the money. She paid for everything. Everything's like in her name. So like the place they're renting, she's on the lease. All the utilities are in her name and everything. So like breaking into the house is like, well, her name's on the lease. She didn't really break into the house. Like Riley really, I don't think legally he could have changed the locks on Mint because she didn't break the lease with the landlord and she didn't like, say, hey, I'm not renting here no more and left. Like she left for a couple of days. You can't just change the locks. Like if you leave your house, I can't change the locks on you and be like, well, I live here now. Sorry.
Well,
right?
Whoever's on the lease. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the details. I don't know who was on what.
Well, according to her, she's on the lease.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And the same thing with the car. Like that's her car.
Right.
According to her. And then, like I said, the cameras and stuff were bought with the intention for her to make her mint salad saws and stuff. And so she feels they're hers. I know there's stuff in the house that was Mint's, like her costumes and stuff. And Riley told me he was planning on selling Mint's costumes, which I would think is theft, no?
Well, if you ask a fat motherfucker up in New York, if you leave you leave your own property at somebody's house. Of course, my name wasn't on the lease at that house, but if you leave your property, then it's abandoned and they can do whatever they want with it. But I don't know. I'm not going to make any declarations on what I think about that.
That's what they were coming back for. Like, so, like even the whole story of them coming back to the house is weird because so Mintz and Sean came out here to stay at some guy's house, a mutual friend of theirs and Riley's, right? And the guy said, hey, you could stay out here and I'm going to get you, I'll get you some work. That guy then turned around and gave that work to Riley and told him, I'm going to bring Riley up here. You guys have to leave the house, right? And so then Mint's like, well, if Riley's going to come up here, we know he won't be at the house, so I can go back and get my stuff, right? Now, I don't know what happened when they got there, what they took. From all I know is she said, I'm going to go back and get my stuff. And I know there was stuff of hers at the house to get, right? So then I guess she got there and the lock was changed, so she couldn't get in. She still had the key to the old lock. She couldn't get in. And I guess she like opened a window and like crawled through a window or something to get in.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't know what she took. And Riley, that's sort of like when people put vague shit, he's like, oh, she came and stole stuff. Well, just say what she's like. Be like, hey, she came and took the TV and the 3 radios and my PlayStation, right? Then we would know, like, oh, that's definitely not hers or that is hers. Like, because I think if he actually said what she took, a lot of it would be like, oh, she took her costumes, she took her, her wigs or like her makeup. I know she had like a bunch of art supplies, like she took her art supplies back, right? Like, would that be stealing? Would you consider Mint going to the house and taking her art supplies stealing?
Well, see, I am just trying to present both sides. And obviously I've talked to Riley. I doubt Mint's probably going to reach out, to be honest with you. SchizoSean, I want nothing to do with him ever. He's a fucking loser. And so Mint Salad, we've had good times, we've had bad. I want nothing to do with SchizoSean ever. I think he's a fucking psychopath and a nutcase. And some people think that about me. Some people think that about Riley. Whatever. I don't want anything to do with that guy ever. And so that's my verdict on him. As far as like you asking me to make a judgment, it's up to the people to decide. I mean, if everything you're saying is true and her name was on the lease and those are her things, it makes it a little bit different. Yeah. But, and if she just took her stuff, her own stuff.
That's what I said.
Okay. But that's what we don't know. And so I don't want to make a judgment is all I'm saying, but I did want to, and I know she probably thought this was going to be a hit, on her. And that's not what this is actually. So especially once I heard you talk to them both. So, I want to be fair. I know people don't think that about me all the time, and maybe sometimes I'm not trying to be fair. But I did want to get the other side, and so couldn't talk to her directly. I didn't reach out to her, to be fair, but she hasn't been on Twitter in a month, and I didn't think that would be likely anyway that she would come on the show. Jess asked earlier. Let me scroll back up. Let's see.
While you're scrolling, I will say this, Ethan.
Yeah.
On Tuesday of last week, Vito actually called me looking for the gas on this situation, which is why I found it odd that suddenly Vito had all the information of what was going on.
Well, this thing was bubbling, obviously, under the veil, right? Right. It's behind the scenes, it was bubbling. I knew nothing about it, but apparently Van Sciver knew about it. A lot of people knew about it, and then, it was,
Yeah, because that's the group Riley dropped in. Like I said, it was it's got to be like a month ago, right? Yeah, the 6th. It's almost a month ago now. He dropped it in the DM group that all his friends and other people like Ethan Van Sciver's in there, and Katie did, and some other people.
All right, now,
and again, I think it's kind of weird. I don't want to say it's unfair, right? Because obviously, whoever comes out first is always going to look like they're the one that gets the sympathy, right? So it seemed strategic to go into the group and be like, "Hey, Mint left and she took off and took a bunch of my stuff, and woe is me, I got no money for rent and I can't pay anything," right? It's like there's no other side of the story. Everyone just
look, okay, if you had stayed with somebody for years, say her name was on the lease. I don't know. Okay, maybe that's true. But say you stay with somebody for years, and your name's on everything, but he's been producing all your content. He's the whole, maybe not the whole reason. Those titties probably got something to do with it. But like he has built you up. Some would say there's a better way to do that rather than just leaving him there without.
Oh yeah, I told her that.
Yeah, so that's, okay, yeah, you can say her name was on the lease and that was her stuff that she took. I don't know if that's true. But to just leave him there like that, many would say that that's fucked up.
Yeah, and then so the rent situation, Riley said that Mint didn't pay the rent. Mint says that she was going to pay the rent, but Riley told her no, buy some weed, and then I'll figure out how to pay the rent later.
Okay.
And according to Riley, there was she did leave weed there, because he said she took all my acid, but she left the weed. So there was weed bought at some point with what money, I don't know, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but Jess earlier asked us, does Sean have a court case going against them? Anyone know what happened with all that? That's not really related to this. I will ask you, I guess they mean from the Imholt stuff or something. I don't know. Or Vito, I don't, as far as I know, no, but I would think you would say the same thing. But do you know of any court cases or with that or with what's going on here? Because Riley said the neighbors called the police. Is there any police involvement that you're aware of?
I'm aware that Riley went into a group chat and that he knows Mint and them are in, and basically posted, if you guys don't leave this group chat, I'm going to call the police and get a restraining order on you and all kind of other stuff. And according to Mint, Riley kicked them out of the group chat and then claimed that they had left. Oh, look, they got scared and left. Again, I don't know what's the truth, right?
Well, yeah, in these types of situations, I shared a little bit, and only because it's already known, and I promise not to really go into that type of stuff anymore. But when you get in these situations, long-term relationships, and there's definitely two sides to every story, and things can get hairy. I will say, okay, well, you gave the reasoning there for the lease and all that stuff and the rent and just leaving them there, and she said she was going to pay it. I don't know. I don't know the truth. I just wanted to put it out there, and the audience can make their own judgments about the situation. And what have I not asked you that you wanted to tell the people?
Well, I know Min said that she's no longer doing adult content, that it wasn't her idea. It was Riley's. So she's going to focus on doing art and making comics and stuff. So it's probably going to disappoint a large section of her audience now, I guess.
Well, her money's going to go down probably, but if that's hurting her, conscience or soul, that's probably the right thing to do. So, and I don't know whose idea it was. Like, I'm not. That's her saying that. So I don't know. Very well, may be true, but yeah, if that's something that she's decided, I think that's good mentally, probably, if she doesn't want to do it. Yeah, definitely. So, but anything else? I just want to make sure.
I'm trying to think because, like I said, there really wasn't any like, oh, Riley's horrible, Riley's this. It was just like I developed a crush on Sean, from working in close proximity. Riley really, didn't have the ambition, the drive anymore. And we could argue, left and right why, obviously you don't want to get arrested, you don't want to go back to jail. But does that, you don't go to Texas, but you could do other things, right? So,
well, look, this whole look, this whole showing up at people's houses shit, and I know I laughed about it. They did it to another guy the other day because I was in beef with him or whatever. That shit is not funny, and it ain't cool, and it never has been. And I never should have sat here and laughed. I mean, the Frank Hassel thing, I guess, was funny, but Boogie invited him to his house, and so there's a little bit of a different thing there. And I guess maybe July said pull up. That's not fucking funny, coming to people's fucking houses. And some people disagree, even some people I get along with. To me, that's not comedy. That's a good way to get fucking killed. And that's my opinion. And if that's your only bit, now if that's like part of your act, showing up here or whatever, okay. But if that's all you can fucking do, which that's not all Riley can do, I know that for a fact. I've not seen SchizoSean do anything else worth a shit besides showing up at somebody's fucking house. That shit ain't funny, and he could get blasted, and I wouldn't cry about it if he did.
Damn.
What else does he do? Do you know anything else he's ever done?
He directed the that like horse of that Chrissy Mayer thing that they put on the channel. I don't know.
What was that? Like, I mean, I'm not even like, I'm just being serious. Like, I don't know what that is. Like
it's so Chrissy Mayer got into it with them over some shit and said they like filmed her and did like a little like mini documentary thing that I guess he directed it or some shit.
Was it Spielberg level? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No.
You know what? Link it to
me. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch it either. I watched the preview thing and like I don't really give a fuck about Chrissy Mayer, to be honest. Right?
Well, yeah, that's fine. But
so I was like, you're feuding with Chrissy. I was like, I don't really care. Like, it's not interesting to me.
Yeah, and look,
I know he does like live streams and stuff. He said he wants to do like short films. So, well maybe in the future.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, hey, I'm just saying that's what I've seen out of him, and if that's the only thing you do, and really you shouldn't ever do it. And there's been times where I've even recently I laughed at this or laughed at that. I know it's fucked up because it's happened to me. And that's one reason I moved to Mexico. And that I like that. They don't come down here and fuck with me because that'll be a bad idea. So that's one of the reasons I moved down here. No shit. And so, not the only one. There's other things. I like this place. It's
Who doesn't like Mexico? Good tacos.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons, but that was one. Yeah, I didn't like people knowing where I lived. And all these psychopaths coming up to my fucking house. And I can't even own a gun because I'm a felon. Because if I had one, might have been a different story. We can't just shoot somebody for standing outside your house. I don't mean that. But like, if they knew I was packing heat, maybe they wouldn't have done some of that shit. Right. So anyway, I know that I'm a little bit hypocritical on the issue. Because I have laughed at this or laughed at that. I even had him on here to talk about it. But when I did, I said, I really don't approve of showing up to people's houses like that. And Hassel, Boogie told him to come to his house. So like there is that out there. Frank Hassel's my guy. And that involves the kill stream as well. So
that was funny. The Frank
it was hilarious. And Boogie did tell him to come to his house. Why don't you just come to my house? Okay, he did, and Boogie did actually have a gun. And Frank Hassel stood right in front of him. Shoot me, motherfucker! Like, I mean, okay, well, that's a bad motherfucker right there. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's blow him away then. So Anyway, wild piece of internet lore that everybody knows about that started here on the Kill Stream, actually.
Everything comes from here.
Vito said you don't get the credit you deserve for giving us all this.
Yeah, I seen Vito buttering you up before he was giving you the pro Riley speech.
Well, you know what? He's right. That part he said about me. And the Riley, I'm trying to stay neutral. I do. I don't know. I like Riley. I've talked to him. We've gotten fights. Like I said, I hate that happened to him. I think just leaving in the middle of the night, that's not cool. It's happened to me. Is what I'll say.
Not cool.
And
that's why I reached out to Riley. Like I said,
yeah.
I was concerned and I reached out, but Mint is also my friend. So
well, yeah, I understand. And like I said, that's why, I think this was a fair presentation here, honestly. And so I'll ask you this to finish it off. Vito said, how can you not see this situation as Riley as the victim? Who do you think is the victim in this situation? Or is it just, there is no victim? It's just an unfortunate thing.
I don't think there is a victim. I think it's unfortunate. Two people didn't work out. They fell out of love, right? It happens. I mean, if this was a movie, depending on which genre, you either go, oh man, it's so romantic that she ran off with SchizoSean. If it's a different genre, you go, oh man, it sucks that Riley got cucked, and now we follow his journey, right? So I guess whoever you like better is the victim, right?
Well, that could be. Thank you for coming on the show tonight, Frog Tony, and plug your channel.
Yeah, you can catch me at YouTube, Frog Tony.